friends, this is Sujivna, belongs to CSE A section of Adi Shankara Institute of Technology. Today I am in front of you to explain the differences between C++ language and Python language, which has most hype in the industry nowadays. As we all know that Python is leading in the first place in the software industry. So what is the new applications of Python which so that it stood first? So now many programming languages serve the same purpose and selecting one among them is difficult task. As every language is having the same operations and applications, it will be hard to select a language. So today we are here with detailed information about C++ versus Python. Both these languages are two of the most popular and widely used programming languages. Memory management. In C++, you must allocate memory to new variables and then release it once the task is completed. However, in Python, there are no such rules. Python provides dynamic memory allocation. It can adapt and allocate memory on its own. Speed. C++ has the advantage of being a statically typed and compiled language, which helps develop time-effective and faster execution programs. On the other hand, Python is a dynamic and interpreted programming language that slows down the processor. As C++ uses compiler, the compiler compiles the whole code at a time. But here, the interpreter compiles the code line by line. So if it finds the error in the first line, so the remaining all the lines will be stopped from execution. It may slow the process of execution. Static and dynamically typing. Because C++ is a statically typed language, variables must have a type such as float or int. They are nothing but data types. Python features a feature called dynamic typing, which means you don't have to define the object's type. Python has a lot of versatility, allowing it to use variables in a variety of situations. That means in Python there is no need of mentioning data types specifically. Readability. There is a lot of syntax in C++ to learn. It does not however have indentation restrictions which makes the code look poor sometimes. In contrast, Python's indentation, which resembles English, helps a coder keep track of each bracket opened. For a newly learning, that means beginner, this might be quite appealing than C++. As C++ has lots of code, it is very difficult for a new beginner. But in Python, the code resembles the English language, so a new beginner can easily understand Python language. Game development. C++ and Python both can be used for game development. Beginners who begin making games with Python will get an understanding of the fundamental logic and concepts of game development. However, performance is the primary challenge with using Python for game development. It is very slow in creating fast-paced, high-intensity game segments. Conclusion. At last, I conclude that this is all about C++ versus Python. Python is more user-friendly and provides a robust support system for artificial intelligence and machine learning frameworks. Nowadays, the emerging technologies are artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science. For learning these three emerging technologies, the basics is Python. So it provides a platform for AI, machine learning and data science. With this in mind, it also worth nothing that C++ is sustainably faster than Python in terms of performance. Python is an interpreted language, thus it can't compete with compiled languages like C++. Python can't be compiled because it works with an interpreter. This is the only drawback of Python I have noticed. Thank you friends. I hope you had understood.